Good day everyone. Today I am going to report about the graph of system of linear equation. So I am the reporter of this topic. I am John May Abalio Hatico. So next. So first we're going to discuss about what is the system of linear equation. A system of linear equation is when we have two or more linear equations working together. A system of linear equation is just a set of two or more linear equations in two variables x and y. A graph of a system of two equations is a pair of lines in the plane. There are three possibilities. The line intersect at 0 point. So, we already know or we already discussed about what is linear equation. So, for example, the linear equation, it is a 2x minus y equals to 0. So, that is the example of linear equation. So, when we say a system of linear equation, it have two or more linear equations. So, it has a combination of two or more linear equation. So, next slide. So, the following slide is the example of the system of linear equation. So, we have the first example. 8a minus b equals to 9 and 4a plus 9b equals to 7. So, as you can see, in the first example, we have two linear equations. So, that is what we call the system of linear equation. Diba? A while ago, I discussed that the system of linear equation, it is having a two or more linear equation or the value of x and y. So, the next example is 3a minus b plus 14c and I equals to 7. Then, 2a plus 2b plus 3c equals to 0. And a minus 12b minus 10c equals to 33. So, that's it now. In the second example, we have three example of linear equation. So in this second example, it is the combination of three equation of linear equation. So that's it. So then the third example is 3r plus s minus 7t equals to 15 and 7 minus 12s plus t equals to 0 and 5s minus 4t equals to 8. And the last example of system of linear equation is x plus 7y equals to 9 and 2x minus y equals 18. So this is the example of the system of linear equation. So next. So now we are going to tackle about the graph of linear equation. So, the graph of linear equation is the set of points in the coordinate plane that all solution of the equation. If all variables represent real numbers, one can be graph of equation by plotting enough points to recognize the pattern, then connect to the point that includes all points. So, we have different example of graph of linear equation. For example, we have the consistent, and inconsistent. Then later on, I will going to discuss what are the different kinds of graph of the linear equation. So next slide. So the two equation y equals 2x plus 5y equals 5x plus 5 and y equals 4x plus 3y equals 4x plus 3. So, form a system of equation. The ordered pair that is solution of both equation is the solution of the system. A system of two linear equation can have one solution, an infinite numbers of solution, or no solution. The system of equation can be classified by the number of solutions. So first, if the system has at least one solution, so it's said to be consistent. Then if it is a consistent system has one solution, it's independent. So now, in graphing the linear equation, so we have two kinds of graph. We have the inconsistent and the consistent. Then under the consistent, we have independent and dependent. So next slide. So the next slide is the example of the two kinds of graph, the inconsistent and the consistent. And as you can see, under the consistent, we have independent and dependent. So, in graph, we have different, they have different names. So, under the inconsistent, if the two linear equation, if the lines of the two linear equation is formed as the parallel, so it has no solution. Then in independent, so if the two lines are, if our two linear equation, then if we graph them, then the result will be intersect, so it has one solution. So in the last type of graph of the linear equation is the consistent under the dependent. So we can say that it is dependent if we can observe that if the two lines has the same line. Bale, ang two linear equation kay same lang siya o line if we graph. So, ma-identify na to siya as infinite solution. So, next slide, no? So, now, how to determine if it is consistent and consistent? So, based on the graph, no, so it is very obvious that we can really determine if the graph is consistent and inconsistent by looking the lines, by looking if has a parallel lines intersection or it has the same lines. So we can identify already because of the lines of the graph. So now I am going to discuss if a consistent system has infinite number of solution, it is dependent. So when you graph the equation, both equations represent the same line. So we can identify if it is consistent, then under the dependent. So if the line of the two linear equation is having the same line. So that's it, no? As you can observe the previous slide, that I give some example or pictures that how to determine if it is dependent of if consistent and dependent. So for independent, so we can identify if it is consistent and independent if the two lines is intersect. So we already know that what is the meaning of intersect. So the next, if the system has no solution, it is said to be inconsistent. The graph of the lines do not intersect. So the graph are parallel and there are no solution. So as you can observe the previous slide, that we can say that it is inconsistent if the graph does not have the same line and they didn't intersect. Bale, the two lines of when we graph the two linear equation, so the result will be they didn't intersect each other, but they do parallel lines. So that's it, no? So in conclusion, in graphing a system of linear equation, we have two different types of graph of the system of linear equation. So first, we have inconsistent and the second is consistent. Then we can say that it is inconsistent if the two lines will be form a parallel lines. Then we can say that it is consistent. Then under in the consistent, we have the independent and dependent lines. So we can say that it is independent if we form the two parallel lines as they form intersect. But and we can say that it is dependent if the two lines have the same line. Nara siya sa isa ka line. So that's it, no? So for my part, I just reporting about or introducing to you what are the different graph, or what are the names of the different graph of the system of linear equations. So that would be all, and thank you for watching. I hope you learned something that you can identify what are the graph of linear equation. So that's all. Thank you.